Hello, welcome back. It's been a long time since we've uploaded a video, and I've had a request for how to restring a Nerfeus SCAR. These, I haven't made a video about them yet, but they are currently available for sale in my local group and on the Victorian Dance-Off Club Discord. Essentially what you've got here is an all-purpose SCAR for high-powered blasters. It's all-purpose because a lot of research and development was put into the dimensions of both length of string, internal diameter of SCAR itself, and twist rate to come up with what's the most forgiving on darts and what's the most accurate and what's the most consistent, so that when you zero your Nerf blaster for a certain range, like I want to be able to hit things consistently at 30 meters, this will allow you to do it. And as you've seen from probably some of my videos, they're quite good at that. You actually get a really decent grouping, and this is how it's done. So anyway, step one to restringing your Nerfeus SCAR is to tie a double granny knot so that when you start stringing, it doesn't pull through the holes. Easy peasy. Okay, line up the string with the corresponding notch at the end. Hard to do while I'm looking at the camera, and go over 1, 2 notches. Once you've done that, lock the string in place with your thumb, come down to the corresponding hole and feed it back in through that hole. I'll pause while I do this. Okay, so I've got it through the hole and it's now poked back out the other end. As you can see, we've got quite a lot of string. You actually need a full arm span. So when you take your string, grab one end of it, spread your arms apart until you've got a full arm span worth of string, and then cut at that distance, tie your double granny knot, and then start. All right, so as before, we're going to skip 2 notches to the left, and that's how we want to string it. Sometimes you'll get it, because it's such a long string, it's going to loop around and do weird stuff like it just did there. That's okay, just loosen it back off. Yeah, there we go. So it's looped around the end. It's being a pain. There we are. So now, we've gone from here, 2 notches over to where my finger is, straight down the SCAR, and we're going to go another 2 notches. So basically, the hole that you go in, like this, right? So we've come from here into here, and we're going 2 notches over. And then we come straight back down, and we repeat until we get to halfway around the SCAR, because there you're going to run into a little issue, and I'll explain that when we get to it. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3 strings. Now, when we want to come straight down to the next hole, you'll notice there's a knot in the road. So we obviously can't go through that one, and this very simple solution is to just go back 1 to the previous hole and start again from there, as if we're starting this stringing process again. Doesn't affect the performance, it just makes it possible. Okay, I'm going to check there's no overlapping. Excellent. So I'm going to demonstrate. Just look down here. Hopefully you can see you've got 3 strings, and then you've got this one. Get my hand out the road. All right, it's not catching on any of the others, it's just freely floating up the middle there. That's good. Pull it tight. Here's the hole where we started from, down here. Here's the corresponding notch, and we're going 1, 2 notches over still. So that way, all of the strings have the same twist rate applied to them, and then we can just continue as normal. And it does get a little trickier not to have the strings getting hooked behind each other and interfering once you get to this stage, but I'm going to try and hold this in a position where both me and the camera can see. All right, so just gently feeding it up, and if you're just gentle and use the curve of the string, it should just want to guide itself without getting caught. And there we go, we've done that one as well. Looking good. We're on the last steps. I'll come back in a second. Okay, we have now got 6 strings all in place, and hopefully you can see that you get a bit of a Star of David type pattern. Sorry, got the tremors a little bit. So a rough Star of David pattern. It's never quite perfect because these are hand produced, but it's always as close as I can get it, and you know you're on the right track when you're looking at that. Okay, so what do you do now? You've got all your strings in place, you've kept tension on them the whole way through, everything's looking pretty good, but there's no way of tying this off, right? This is where, again, you got a little bit of simplicity for a little bit of effort. So we're going to take some electrical tape, and we're going to do this together so that we can count the number of wraps, because the electrical tape will not only lock your string in place, but it also allows you to put your nice decorative shroud on afterwards. So here we go. All right, this could be tricky, but essentially take your electrical tape and you're going to put it over those holes. We're going to go for a couple of loops all the way around. At this point you can kind of just keep a bit of tension on the string as best as you can, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Right, that's 2. Once we've done 2, check the string tension and then pull it over like so. Keep your tension on it again, and we're going to go another 1, 2 laps again, and then we go back over again. Okay, so 1, 2. So we did 2 laps, flipped it, 2 laps, flipped it back. That's 4. We've just done another 2, so that's 6 wraps. 7, 8, 9 wraps of tape, and our string's all nicely locked in. Now we're going to put a second locking wrap, and we're going to do it on the other end. Try not to put any undue pressure on them. Right, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a little bit. You'll probably get roughly 9, 10, 11 wraps of tape at each end, and that's purely depending on how thick the tape is, what brand you're using, blah blah blah. But in this instance we got 9. Okay, so now functionally your scar's actually done. Take your scissors. As you can see, that full arm span left us with a little bit to play with, which was what we wanted. Trim it off, and we have a functional Nerfeus SCAR, which will be nice and accurate, but it's ugly. So once you've restrung, now we can go ahead and we can put on our shroud. So I'll be right back. Okay, we're back again. We're nice and completed, and here we have a nice decorative shroud. So all we do is we have the tape here that helps us fit firmly. Slide it on, and we're looking good here too. And there we have it. You've restrung your Nerfeus SCAR. If this is something that appeals to you, you want to have a crack at one of these, I will endeavour to leave a link to where you can purchase them from the Victorian Darts Off Club Discord. Bear in mind, if you're in Australia, this is probably much more of a viable option than if you're overseas and watching this. However, nice and simple, straightforward, not a lot going on here, but hours and hours and hours and thousands of darts worth of research and development has gone into creating what I think is one of the best, most accurate and consistent SCAR barrels you can get at the moment. And plenty of chat to be had in the Victorian Darts Off Club Discord if you want some other opinions from not just the creator. Alright, thanks guys, hope that helped you restring it. You guys out there who have requested this, you know who you are, so here you go. I hope it helps. Alright, thanks everyone.